Hey math kids, today we're going to talk about the derivatives of exponential functions. And let's just jump right in with an example. So, I guess we should explain this. So the cool thing about e to the x is that its derivative is also e to the x. So really we're just going to do derivatives like that. So we have 2 e to the x plus e to the negative 3x. And then we also have x squared e to the negative x. And we want to find the derivative of each of these. So since there's addition involved, we don't have to do any special rules like product rule or quotient rule. And so this one just becomes 2e to the x. We just rewrite it. This one we will have to do the chain rule. So what we're going to do is we just rewrite what we have, e to the negative 3x, but then we want to multiply that by the derivative of the inside, which in this case is negative 3. Okay, and then if I just kind of bring that out in front, my final answer for my derivative is going to be 2 e to the x minus 3 e to the negative 3x. Okay. For this one, we're going to have to do the product rule. So we'll do this one and this one as our two functions. So if you remember the product rule, we write the first function, then we times it by the derivative of the second function. So that's going to be e to the negative x times negative 1 because of the chain rule. Then we're going to add that to the second function times by the derivative of the first. Okay. Just a little bit of simplification. I'm going to pull this negative 1 out in front. And then I'm going to say plus 2x e to the negative x. And we'll call that good. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. E to the 2x divided by x. So we'll want to do quotient rule on this one. Or we can just think of this like e to the 2x times by 1 over x. I'm actually going to do it that way. I kind of like this method a little bit more. If you want to see the quotient rule method, the book does it that way, so you can look at it that way. Okay, so I've just rewritten this. So I haven't done any derivative stuff yet. But I'm doing the product rule now. So it's this function times by this function. So I write the first function, then I multiply it by the derivative of the second function. So I bring down the negative 1, x to the negative 2. Then I add that to the second function, multiplied by the first function, the derivative of the first function. Okay, and then just a little bit of simplification. I'm going to bring the negative out in front, change the negative exponent, bring it down on the bottom, bring the 2 out in front, e to the 2x, and that's over x. Now if you use the quotient rule, you're definitely going to get an answer that looks different, but if you graph them both on Desmos, if you graph this and what you get with the quotient rule, should be the same thing. And there is technically a way to simplify them to look like each other, but we're not going to get into that right now. Okay, just keep going with some problems. Okay, this is going to be a chain rule. So we bring the 3 down, rewrite the inside. drop the 3 by 1, and then multiply it by the derivative of the inside, which is just e to the x. Okay, you can leave it like that, or if you want to, we can bring it together like this. Either one's fine. Okay, and now we have 1 over square root of 2e to the negative x plus 1. So I would start by writing this as 2e to the negative x plus 1 raised to the negative 1/2. So once again, I did not take the derivative yet. I'm just rewriting it. Now the derivative, I bring the 1/2 out in front, rewrite the inside, drop this by 1, and then we multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is going to have another chain rule. So it's 2e to the negative x, and then we times that by the derivative of the inside. So we had to do the chain rule twice on that one. Now if we just take these pieces and this piece, we can simplify it a little bit. The negatives will cancel. The 1 really doesn't matter. 2 cancel, 2 on top cancels 2 on bottom. So all those constants are gone because the 1 multiplying by 1 doesn't really matter. And so if we want, we can just write it like this. And then if you really wanted to take it for the, I would accept this, but all of this goes on the bottom. So it's e to the x. And then this would be the square root of 2e to the negative x plus 1 quantity cubed. So whatever you want. I'll even accept just leaving it as that. Any of those three works for me. If you need additional help, please come to Math Lab. Until then, calculator.